Greetings, lords and ladies and fellow dictators, and welcome to a brand new, somewhat shorter Let's Play of Tropico 6 Beta. Now, the kind people at Calypso were kind enough to provide me with a key quite a while back, but I just never actually got into it, into recording due to, once again, IRL and whatnot. However, right now that I do have the time, a couple of days ago, I just saw on Steam that a beta update came up, and I was just curious, alright, well, what happened? I opened up the game, and you gotta understand that I used to love playing city builders such as SimCity, or way back in the day they were like, what are they called? Pharaoh, Zeus, I believe Caesar was also one of them, you know, stuff like that. And once I opened up the game and, you know, just tried it out once again to see what changed, that spark was relit, and I decided that, you know, I know that the game is coming out, I believe, at the end of this month, on the 29th of March. That is why this is going to be a somewhat shorter Let's Play. I am going to make the episodes about 45 to 1 hour long, but yeah, about just a couple of episodes, really. Just to do my best and present the game as well as possible before the game actually comes out, so that those people that have perhaps not seen the game yet can see what it's all about and buy it as soon as it is out. We will be starting a new game. Now, tutorial, I went through the tutorial once when I actually got the key. I think I have the basics down, but for this occasion, we are going to do a sandbox. We're gonna go and do a random map. Right now there are 4 maps available, but this is only the beta, of course. A lot of things. Oh, wow, okay, they open a lot more now that I look at this. However, the missions, they added a few as well. Tutorial, everything there. Sandbox, random map, we're just gonna go with that. Let's go with, I don't know, let's go with large. Landmass, yeah, it can be medium. Plateaus, I'll just leave that as it is. Islands, let's say few. We don't need to be keep jumping around islands. Of course, you can make bridges later on and whatnot, and it makes things a lot easier. But in the colonial era, you would have to focus some of your land to building things like landings and such to make things easier, to make things work. We're gonna leave the climate as it is. Climate variation, medium, sure. Resources balance, that seems good. Starting era, we are going to start in the colonial era. Starting money, that stays. Starting population, do we just keep it on 75? Do we go a little bit harder and go 50? Nah, let's keep it on 75. Sure. 4 and 8, fair. Caribbean happiness, moderate political difficulty, fair, reluctant opposition difficulty. Sure, we'll just keep it, we'll keep most of the things as they are just for the purpose of this. So let's start. There we go. I played this game yesterday. I finally had a night off. I was still kind of too tired to actually go and record anything. I hope you understand that much. Like, you still need energy to actually record. But yeah, I sat down, I decided to see what the game changed, how the game is now, and the moment I started playing, I just couldn't stop. I played this for a couple of hours yesterday, and yeah, decided to finally do a coverage of it, a long overdue coverage. I should have done this a long time ago, and I actually feel very guilty for getting the key but not doing this sooner. And another reason why I'm going to make like only a couple of episodes of this is, like I said, this is only the beta. And considering how much fun I'm having with this game, I have full intentions of actually buying the game once it's out at the end of the month, and I will most likely just do another Let's Play then, perhaps do the missions and whatnot. I will, of course, be doing this as an additional Let's Play. You're still gonna be getting the usual Crusader Kings, the usual Gekakujo and whatnot updates as they should be coming. Alright, so let's check the menus first and foremost. You can, of course, use the number buttons above your Q, E, W, R, etc, etc, etc. QWRE, sorry. So, number 1, is usually a task overview. Whenever a task actually comes to be, you can always check up on them right there. Construction. Plenty of tabs, everything is well and organized. You really shouldn't have any problem finding whatever you need. Road, demolish. These are of course the buildings that are currently available in the colonial era. As you go on with time, you unlock all of these. Now the reason, what are these little icons right here? That means that you first have to buy a blueprint in order to build the actual buildings, and you can even see it down there. You can see it says electrical substation right there. Electrical substation, it costs 1,000 to buy the blueprint and then 2,000 to actually build it. So that is that. Coconut harvester, these are the food and resources that you get at the very beginning. We'll check those in a moment. Lumber mill, rum distillery, tannery. Of course, you first need the raw resources in order to do any sort of industry. And once again, you can see that there's plenty of buildings to be built throughout time. Now, you can, of course, choose to either be a very specific colony, or rather, very specific nation. Do you want to just focus, I don't know, on rum distilleries or something? You can, of course, do that. However, I don't do that, and I will explain why in just a moment. Here you go. Here you can see how this works. First, you need to unlock the blueprint, then you can actually build it. Excellent, we actually got an opportunity to show that off. Newspaper, library. Library gives you research. Newspaper, well, it basically serves as your propaganda center. Chapel, grocery, guard tower, fort, pirate cove. That's a very, very fun building right there. We will, of course, show that off. And, of course, there are world wonders. Now, you do keep in mind, you cannot simply build world wonders. Now, I know that it says like 10,000, I don't know, dollars, or sure, let's call them dollars. You can't just buy it for $10,000 like you could, for instance, in, I don't know, Civilization games. No, you first have to actually do a heist and steal the world wonder and then transport it to your island. But of course, every world wonder gives you some sort of bonus, like for instance the Brandenburg Gate. Citizens cannot have die-hard political views anymore. Citizens will be more inclined to develop indifferent or moderate political views. So you won't have, like, let me show you this. This is, of course, the almanac. If we check people's happiness, or rather, sorry, politics, there we go. Factions, indifferent, only 8. There are plenty of royalists, there are plenty of revolutionaries. If I, for instance, had the Brandenburg Gate, not many of them would actually be die-hard revolutionaries. They would only be, like, moderate ones. So, you know, they could still change in between, but more likely be indifferent. So, one way to keep control over the extremists on each side, because of course you do have to juggle between the factions. Right now we only have revolutionaries and royalists. Afterwards you have like industrialists, militarists, communists, capitalists, etc, etc, and you have to juggle in between all of those. Who do you want to be on best terms with? Right. Since we're on the almanac, there we go, all the information required. Right now we are on 0 rebel threat. Now do keep in mind that revolutionaries and rebels, they are not the same. Revolutionaries actually help you force the crown to agree, or rather not agree, but to give you independence. Now you can do this via 2 ways. Either one, you pay $10,000, I suppose, once prompted, and you just gain independence just like that, and you enter the Cold or rather World War eras, or you simply say, I declare independence, and possibly get invaded, and you have to have some sort of military to actually beat them. Now, I never actually did it the military way. I always had the 10,000. Don't be fooled by the 50,000 gold, by the way. That goes away very quick, very quickly. Homeless citizens. You can see which are the homeless families and what their current... Right? What their current financial status is. 22 of them are broke, 4 are poor. Now, don't be scared about the broke number. The broke just means that there are plenty of unemployed, and because of that, of course, they don't have a wage, and they don't even count as poor. Now, as long as people are broke, they are going to live in little shacks like these. You have to build at least bunkhouses, And as you can see, tenants must be at least poor. First and foremost, you have to give them jobs. Once they are not jobless anymore, unemployed, there we go, homeless families, right, unemployed, but 0 vacant jobs. Once the people actually get jobs, well, we already have a college student, or rather a college degree person here, and 2 high school people, and 40 uneducated. So uneducated ones will of course work the plantations, the industry, etc, etc, etc. Not advanced industry, of course. But once you create jobs, all of them will get employed, and because of that they are going to have wages. They are no longer going to be poor, and they are going to be able to live in buildings such as bunkhouses. Unemployed, we just checked. Overall happiness, you can check what sort of happiness people have. The food happiness, healthcare. You raise all of this by, of course, building buildings. Such for food, for instance, you have to have different varieties of food. Healthcare, what is your coverage of healthcare? Like, do you have plenty of clinics? Do you have plenty of hospitals? And do those hospitals and clinics actually, you know, cover enough people? Right now, with 75 population, that shouldn't be too much of a problem. But honestly, healthcare doesn't become much of a problem until later on. Pretty sure, as you can see, we can't even have a clinic yet until we enter Cold Wars, or rather World Wars, so that is not much of a concern in the colonial era. Next, people, growth, decline. Of course, you can, through time. We do not have a constitution right now yet, but once you have a constitution, you can of course tell people that there is no immigration out of glorious Tropico. Economy. You can check everything here. Politics we already checked. Right now we are on foreign relations 50 with the crown. We raise that by doing crown missions, by doing exports, imports for the crown, etc. Everything you do for the crown raises this, and the higher it is, the better, honestly, because the higher it is, I believe they even give you financial aid much rather, or rather much more frequently. At least I think that's how it works. Infrastructure, if you're interested in what sort of infrastructure, for instance, if you're not sure how many clinics you have, or how many hospitals, or how many army buildings really you have, you can of course check everything here. Food industry, for instance, we have 1 ranch that is currently raising cattle. No rebellions as of yet. Next, we have the overlays. Always one of the best tools in any of these city building simulators, city building sims. There we go. We have multiple choices. Pollution, electricity. Of course, right now there's no electricity in the colonial era, so everything's red. Pollution, so far so good. Pollution is raised, of course, by residential areas, by industries, etc. There are certain ways to decrease that pollution. We'll get into that later. Crime, right now, of course, as you can see, the bunk homes, of course, are a crime nest. Liberty, so far everybody's pretty happy. Fun, there's no fun, despite, if I'm not mistaken, wait, did we not? Oh no, we do not have a tavern or anything yet. Aha. That is one of the happinesses, of course, as well as you can see, fun happiness. So 31, that's not that high. So yeah, we can increase it by that. Faith coverage, that's the chapel, church, etc. Religion. Healthcare coverage, like I said, that is not even an issue just yet. Food coverage. So far everything. Fun quality. Right, the quality of fun as well. You have multiple quality, or rather entertainments, tavern, circus, we don't even have the blueprints yet. And everything that comes afterwards. Healthcare, food quality, everything you need to know. Military strength, of course. The only place with military strength so far, as it should be, is the palace. Residential occupancy. If you kind of forget, because of course sometimes once the city gets too big, you just kind of don't really know where the residential areas are. That is how you help yourself. Island. Beauty. Apparently these mountains are very beautiful. Interesting. I always find it funny. The first map I opened up, like, around the abandoned city was very beautiful, and I was like, yeah, well, that makes sense. It's a very beautiful site and whatnot, like architecture and whatnot. Here, it doesn't really find it beautiful at all. Forests. Coconuts. for those coconut harvesters that we are going to have a few at the very beginning. And soil degradation. That is, if you remember, I mentioned how I do not intend on making the colony one, let's say, monocultural or mono-industrial. We're not just gonna do one industry because the soil degrades if you only use monocultures. Cattle, sheep, crocodiles as well. Llamas, goats, everything has a green efficiency meter, of course. You have to pay attention to that if you want the best output of the buildings you place there. Coffee, cotton, rubber, as you can see, plenty of things to harvest. I can very much appreciate the all mineral resources button right here so that you don't have to search for everything. Of course, for some things you still have to look for. As you can see, it only shows us right now gold. I believe that's iron. Yes, it is. Coal. And that is pretty much what it shows right now. So the first three. Uranium, you have to check. Apparently, oh wow, we have 0 uranium here. But uranium is only useful once you get into like the Cold War. I'm not even sure if we're gonna get to all the way to the Cold War with this Let's Play. Aluminium, also none. Nickel, none. Oil? None. Oh, no, I saw some oil. There we go. Some oil right there. Fish. There are some sources, but wow, 0 uranium, 0 aluminum, and 0 nickel. That is bad RNG right there. Wow, we did not get lucky at all. Right, colonial era. You do, of course, have edicts as well. Food for the people. Citizens consumes 2 units of food when eating. Increases the general food quality by 10. Decreases the capitalist spending by 10. And increases communist spending. Now, of course, every decree you do, or at least most decrees, they do have effects like that. Effects on the factions is what I mean. And, of course, effects on the actual population as well. As you can see, you have colonial era, world wars, Cold War, and then modern times. Each one of these has their own edicts that you can enforce. Now, the reason there are stars up here is that once you enact an edict, for instance, if I enacted the Food for the People edict right now, the longer it stays enacted, the stronger it becomes. After a while, so if I enact it right now, after a while it's gonna get 1 star, and after a while longer, it's gonna get 2 stars. That is what those stars are. Next, we have the... wait a minute. Yeah, the research. Of course, we're not getting any research points, or rather knowledge production just yet, because we do not have a library standing. Now, just so that people aren't confused, why? Because we can actually, if you saw... wait, where is it? Still trying to find these things. There we go. We can already build a library. Now, just so that people don't get confused, the reason the library is right here is, as you can see, library work modes. Every building has some sort of work modes, and this research basically opens up additional ones. This is not just so that you can start building libraries, but actually conduct different things. Now, raids. This is something very, very fun. For this, you either need a pirate cove in the colonial era, a commando garrison in the World War era, spy academy in the Cold War era, and then cyber operations center in the modern era. Now, through these pirate coves and all of these commando stations and whatnot, you can do different raids, different heists. These are the things where you can get world wonders from. For instance, if I created a pirate cove, once they generated enough raid points, because they do generate raid points, like each of these buildings generate raid points, and any raid or heist or anything costs a certain amount of these raid points. You will see once we build the building. But in order to do heists, you need, I believe, like 5,000 raid points or something like that, so yeah, quite a lot. Also, another thing to note is that as far as world wonders go, you can only heist 1 world wonder per era. So we definitely want to heist at least 1 world wonder before the colonial era is over. That is as far as raids goes, and the trade, of course, a very important thing here because it does increase or decrease, of course, your standing with every faction. Sorry, I'm kind of losing my words there. Depending on which you choose. Right now, there are only two nations, or rather two factions, that we can do trade with, which are the Crown and the Resistance. Smugglers. Sorry, not the Resistance. Smugglers. Now, note that if we do a smuggler import, for instance, upon signing the contract, we decrease our standing with the Crown by -10. That is not very nice. However, every time you accept one of these, now the reason I'm going to wait before we actually accept a trade agreement is because you keep getting random missions from the Crown. And through those random missions, if you successfully do them, and usually they are to do an import or an export trading mission, once you do that, you can actually extend your mandate by, I believe, 18 months. That's right. So, with all of that said, let's get to the actual game. We spent like 20 minutes actually just doing the overlays, checking everything, how things work. Shacks, of course, you can, if you're interested, like, for instance, I can't really remember right now if there was any resistance or anything like that. If you had criminals, special citizens, they would come up here as criminals or something like that. If you wanted to check up on them, you can actually click on their portraits there, but you can also click on the people, of course, here. You can bribe them if they're, I don't know, faction leaders or something before any sort of elections. You can gain a little bit more of a favor with them. You can, of course, assassinate them should they be, I don't know, should they be criminals, should they be your opposition, anything like that. You know, you're a dictator after all. You can do whatever you want. Ministry of Information is needed if you want to arrange accidents, arrest people, institutionalize. That I believe is new. I don't think you could actually put people into asylums before. Happiness, you can of course see what people are happy about, what they are not happy about. Once, you know, the happier they are, the more support you get from them. Thoughts, I never really got into these, but I'm doing nothing, I'm between some things. Very nice. That's one way to go about life. Alrighty then. Now, since we... certainly. These are the work modes that I was talking about when we were in the research tab. Here, as you can see, we can choose different work modes. For instance, in the Teamster's office, we have safe load, which, you know, building works on basic settings, or we get loose load limits. Now, to explain, Teamster's offices, they basically transport all of your resources. They transport your resources from, from the raw resource production to the actual industrial building where it has to be processed, for instance. And also transports your resources to your dock for export and whatnot. So these are very important buildings. Now you can do loose load limit, which means that they do have a capacity increase by 50%. However, you might lose about 5%, up to 5%, it says, on the way to the target. Of course, many buildings also have upgrades, but I believe that not many of them are actually available within the colonial era. But once you enter World Wars, you can do plenty more upgrades, of course, in other buildings as well. Teamster's office, if you're interested in what it does, there you go. And of course, our actual palace, the home of El Presidente, or rather, future El Presidente. One thing that has always been fun about these Tropico games is the customization. You can customize both your president. As you can see, I've already kind of customized them a little bit. Male, you can also be a female, should you so choose. I chose the Mafia outfit, of course. More things should be coming available. Do we do a headdress? We can be a pirate. A Mafia pirate. Oh no! Complete the Pirate King mission. Huh. Right, so you do unlock these things through missions. There are plenty of ways to customize your El Presidente or Il Duce or whatever you want to call them, really. Traits, now, I just went with kind of normal, because you do have traits, like, as you can see, apologetic. The standing penalty of for rejecting demands is decreased by 50%. You have plenty of these traits to go through. You can choose whichever one you want. I just went with kind of normal, since I was still learning the game and whatnot. Maybe once I do the actual Let's Play with the actual, you know, 100% finished game, that might change. And of course you can also customize your palace. Like, I decided to go with a backyard because I always like backyards. Like, I don't know, my first home where I was growing up had a backyard. It was always fun to be there. But you can of course do different ones. You see the general layout on the actual picture, but you can of course just hover over them to see what the what the position of everything would be, what the layout of everything would be. There you go. Path. You can, of course, choose different paths. Now, I wanted to do the red carpet, but, we need the Taj Mahal and the Neuschwanstein Castle? Neuschwanstein. Yeah, I think that's how you say it. I'm supposed to know German, but that's such a long word. Wow. But wait, radical? Radial, not radical. Irregular, radial. Sure, let's go with radial. Actually, it looks nicer. Boundary, that's basically the wall around. Do you want a wall? Do you want light military, heavy military? That only becomes available later, or do you just want a hedge? I believe it's called a hedge, not an edge. But yeah, we're gonna go Victorian style. After all, we are still in the colonial era. You can, of course, change this afterwards. Like I said, plenty of this stuff only becomes available in the later stages of the game. Now, first thing we're gonna do, as you can see, there's a little prompt right there, so you get prompted about a lot of things. One of the things is this. Whenever you build through shacks, the shacks get destroyed. And unless there's buildings where these people that actually live there can move into, they're just gonna rebuild the shack somewhere else. Now, right now, we're going to be connecting. See, that's still a bit iffy how the road does not go the way I want it to go, but perhaps that'll change. Like, maybe, you know what, we'll do it like this. It works. It works like this just fine. I believe that once you have an embassy, once the World War starts, it takes, like, it's 2 across. So I believe we'll be able to position an embassy, or rather place an embassy right next to the palace, which, you know, it kind of fits. So the dock is now connected. Next thing we have to do is, of course, get some production going. Now, we could do mines immediately, but I would rather focus on the raw materials that we can easily get. Now, there's not a lot of coconut gathering places, but we will be placing, let's say, 2 of these little guys. 2 coconut harvesters. You turn these, the building around with the mouse wheel, by the way. There we go. We'll position 2 of them there, and of course we will be connecting them with roads of their very own. There. So we will have some coconut gatherers, and immediately, once those coconut gatherers are built, I believe they open up like 2 or 3 jobs that these people are then gonna be able to take and, you know, move. Speaking of moving, we might as well just make like 2 bunkhouses right there so that the people that get jobs there can just move in, won't have much walking distance to do. Always very nice to be nice to our people, and to a certain degree, of course. Next thing, we can get a logging camp. Should we do logging in this direction, perhaps? Maybe logging up here. Are there any? I can't recall. Are there any? No. These resources. There are no resources up here. Now, one thing I'm thinking is maybe the uranium and aluminium are not showing, neither the nickel, because we highlights the location, depleting deposits corresponding. Huh. Now, I'm not completely sure, because I actually didn't check this in the previous Let's Play I was doing, but perhaps they become visible once you actually need them. Maybe. We'll see. But as far as the logging camp goes, let's just say that we're gonna make a little logging camp right over there. I believe I positioned it on green, right? Yes, I did. Excellent. Alright. So that's another couple of jobs. One thing I did learn is that it's a pretty good idea to, in the beginning at least, have 2 construction, what are they called? Construction offices. So that the building and everything goes much faster, much smoother. Now, for now, 1 Teamster's office is enough, but I usually prefer having plenty more so that we can export more things and earn more money that way. Let's see, what else can we perhaps build right off the bat? Right, we should check what kind of crops we can have and where we can have them. Now, unsurprisingly, this will be the largest area for any sort of crops, I'm sure. Yeah. There you go. The reason I'm checking through everything is because I would like I said, to make multiculture plantations. Can you actually go through? No? Okay. Maybe from here, we'll just do it like this. Maybe like that. Let me just check one more time. No, not pollution. Crops. Alright, corn can be made there. Sugar, alright, so a sugar plantation can be positioned like right there or something like that. Cocoa, opposite of it. Tobacco can be positioned right there, and probably should be positioned right there. Banana, next to the tobacco, alright. Pineapples. Oh, that's a little bit iffy, but no, the sugar is gonna be right there, right? No, the sugar is gonna be here. What did we say was gonna be there? We'll see, but the coffee and cotton can be even a little bit further. Coffee can even be behind the, what did we say was gonna be there? Alright, we said cocoa there, sugar here, and the coffee can be next to it. We'll basically see what we do, but for now, with how the road has been positioned, let's just check. Industry, raw resources, plantation, there we go. Alright, so corn. I mean, we could just make corn right here as well. It would not be 100% effective, though. Cocoa would be the best position right there, probably. Tobacco. Tobacco. Oh, right, we said tobacco can be, like, right, like, positioned like this, right? Let's try and get as much green as possible in there. I believe that's... yeah, that'll do. That should do. There we go. So we have tobacco. Coffee. Coffee. Or whatever the guy said. Cotton will be on the other side, so let's see what else we can position right here. Coffee can be positioned there. Tobacco we already have. Either banana or coffee should and will be positioned there. Let's see. So, banana only available there, while coffee is also available on this side. Alright, so we'll have a banana plantation next to it. There. Now, sugar is a very important thing. Banana, sugar, cocoa. On the other side, tobacco we already have. Coffee is gonna be there. Cotton, even a little bit further. Rubber can only be positioned over here. Alright. So as far as this place goes, what is corn? Something was green only on this side. What was it? I mean, we can make corn right next to it, I guess. Or pineapples, even better. And we'll even turn the pineapple plantation like this so that it gets more green over there. There. Now I'm hoping that I can actually build a road in between those things. I should be able to, right? Please let me. It's not... Okay, so this is one thing that, yeah, this is still the beta, I guess. So, as you can see, it's just jumping in between them. I can't make a road through here, even though I should clearly be able to. Look. Alright, so that's a bit iffy. But I can build a road all the way to here, so... I don't know, I guess we'll just go around. This is not very effective. Are you kidding me? I can't even do that? Why is it... Alright, sure, we'll have a crooked road. You guys should still be fine, right? As far as the... I just realized that the coconut harvester... I mean, they're still relatively... Good God, okay, so we ruined our coconut harvesters with that, but these are more important. Better and more important. I believe 3 plantations for now should be fine. And a Teamster's... There we go, Teamster's office. Wait, we're not gonna be placing any plantations on this side, right? Like right there. No. Okay, no. So no plantations will be positioned there. At least they shouldn't be. So we'll just make another Teamster's office right there. So that the Teamster's office here will... They'll have an easier time transporting everything to the actual dock. Alright, let's actually start playing a little bit. And of course, with all of this going on, job positions will be opening up. Let's actually increase the game speed a little bit. We can see how the buildings are being set up. Or rather, we just see the scaffolding and whatnot, but afterwards... You know what? I don't think colonial era had these sort of... this sort of machinery just yet. There you go, so... Apparently there are still no workers there, even though we have plenty of broke people. Ah! Perhaps we need more bunk houses in order for these people to actually move into these places. Alright, so residential. Let's build a couple of more bunk houses like that. That should be enough. Alright, the freighter came in. He brought 8 more people. And a little bit of money. Not too sure what we earned that money from, considering I don't think there was a single Teamster heading that way just yet. Alright, there we go. This place has 1 worker for now. For whatever reason, people just love being Teamsters. The first thing that always gets taken, like all the jobs, are in the Teamsters' offices. Alright, so this plantation is full.
Do the ends justify being mean? But for independence, any sacrifice is worthwhile.
For the record, I absolutely love the the sort of what are these dialogues or monologues that these characters have. They're just great. Like, there are certain games where you expect seriousness, like, I don't know, games like Crusader Kings, games like Stellaris and everything. You expect those games to be very serious, or at least as serious as possible, with a little bit of, you know, humor added into it. But games like these, they need this sort of dialogue, this sort of humor. There we go. So, this is one of the factions, like I said, the revolutionary faction. They currently have a demand. They want me to build a chapel. Now, I am absolutely fine with building the chapel. For one thing, because that will increase the religious happiness. Plus, that will actually give high school students, high school educated people in our nation some jobs. I believe 2 people can actually work in a single chapel, and they do have to have high school education. I will see if I am wrong in just a moment, but yeah, you can see rewards. 1 can be chosen. Either 10 revolutionary immigrants, $2,000, or you get a random blueprint. Now, usually, in the colonial era, I go for the revolutionary immigrants. 1, you get more people, and 2, if you want, or rather when you want to declare your independence, you need to have a certain amount of revolutionary support. And of course, revolutionary immigrants are going to be your support in the revolution. Makes sense, right? Sorry, I keep clicking space thinking that it actually pauses. I have not yet figured out which button is the pause button, like the hotkey. Right, so that is under public services. There we go, a chapel. Where we have like 2 bunk bunk houses there, another 2 here. Let's say that a chapel can be built right here. It should cover everything there. And also, we should probably get some bunkhouses going next to these plantations, now that I think about it. Right, here we go. So, work mode monoculture. The reason I go multiculture, there we go, multiculture decreases the efficiency by 40. Yes, that is true, primarily. However, the plantation does not decrease the fertility over time, which means that the efficiency will stay at that, at least. It won't drop due to soil degradation. Plus, the plantation gets 10% efficiency for other plantations in the vicinity with a different crop running on the same work mode. So as you can see, it already covers all 3, or rather the other 2 plantations. So if I do multiculture on this one, right now it says efficiency 55. Alright, I guess there was a little bit of yellow in there as well, that's why it's not 60. However, if I tell this guy, go multiculture as well, it's suddenly 65. And you can, like, if you do multiple plantations like this, like, I don't know, I just prefer doing multiple different plantations. I don't know, some people will probably say that it's better to just have, I don't know, 2 or 3 forms of plantation so that you can actually focus your industry, and I can see the benefit in that, I can see that. But if you, like, once we have the other 2 or 3 plantations on this side as well, like, these plantations will, and can, or rather, and possibly will, work at above 100 efficiency. And I find that very, very good. There you go. So the bunkhouses are immediately filled up. We still have unemployed citizens. We do have vacant jobs, but of course, once that plantation is going to be up, it takes in 8 people.
It's nice to have choices, isn't it? Choices like continue as governor or begin a new career in manual labor.
Career? I'm sure you would like your situation to remain as it is. So please don't forget which side your bread is buttered and who gave you the butter. I love this posh accent. Build ranch. He wants us to build 2 more ranches. Aha, so he doesn't want the import or anything, or rather export. He wants us to make ranches. Interesting. I mean, I am absolutely fine with that. That will increase our output and whatnot. Now, we already have a ranch here. That's a cattle ranch. But in order to have food quality, or rather food happiness, you of course have to have plenty more different ones. So, we can go ranch. Cattle we already have. Sheep. Sheep give you wool, and I don't think it gives you meat. Oh, there we go. Sheep gives you wool and milk. Crocodiles give you leather. Pigs give you meat. Llamas give you only wool, and goats give you only milk. Interesting. So in what way is sheep not the best? I mean, it gives you milk. And of course you can turn hides into leather as well. In the tannery. This one just flat out produces leather. I mean, I guess we can make a crocodile farm, like a crocodile ranch right there. We could. Though I'm leaning more onto the sheep since it does give milk. Sheep and pig is what I'm thinking right now. So that people have different varieties of meats. Alright, so sheep, where can you be positioned? I mean, I can make a sheep farm right there. It's right next to the dock as well, so any wool that gets made. Though, on the other hand, I would very much like the grocery shops that we are going to be making to also benefit from it. We did say that we aren't gonna be making any additional plantations on this part at least, so we can also make it here. Let me see, sheep and I said pig. Alright, so both can actually be positioned there. Perfect. We'll make the sheep. Drag that out a little bit more. Ranch, pig. There we go. Excellent. And you know what? I saw that people are still homeless. So let's create... I know that 2 bunk houses still have not been built, but we'll just build a couple more bunk houses right there. So far, we don't really have any well-off citizens just yet, so we do not have to create any more country houses. There already are a few here, though all of them are already filled. Interesting. I wonder what their jobs are. Possibly some of them are our military right here. We can add more guards. Awesome. Right, the guards over here. You can actually, when protests start, I believe in the Cold War era. I'm not sure if they're already in the World Wars or not. Cold War, definitely though. You can violently suppress those protests. Or you can actually negotiate with them, you can talk with them, etc, etc, etc. Now, as you can see, things are being built quite slowly, which is why it's good to have a double construction office right there. Apologies about that, phone started ringing. Huh. What are we actually... We're not... We're not expecting any revenue because our Teamsters have yet to transport anything to there. How are our coconut plantations working? 12. Not much. This one's not even built yet. What about the ranch? It does have hides. They could easily bring the hides there, but they are not bringing them there yet. Alright. So we definitely want to keep at least a little bit of money. Those are the Teamsters? No, wait, those are the construction workers. What are you guys? Are you Teamsters? Truck, yep. Alright, so these guys are finally bringing something to the... I believe, at least. No, they're not bringing anything. Come on, bring something here. We need to export things if we want to earn money. They're just running about. But I guess that's what they do. Oh, this one's actually bringing something. What's he gonna bring? Before this guy comes in, please. Aha, logs. There we go. So we did make some money.
Revolution. Together, Governor Jew, I, and the people will turn everything around.
Jew, I, and I. Nah, what? Jew, I, and the people. We appreciate this good turn you've done for us, and I assure you we will stop revolving before we go all the way around and end up back where we started. But the struggle can be protracted. God. 10 revolutionary migrants. There we go. Though the migrants will be arriving with the next freighter. Not just yet. Alright, we have plenty of workers in the tobacco, in the banana. No pineapples are being grown just yet, though. Probably because there's nobody there, they're all away. Huh. Alright, what are you bringing? Coconut, tobacco, logs. Oh.
I must say I'm glad to be still working with you. Finding good help is so difficult these days.
So difficult, indeed. Between you and me, your little eccentricities make being here a little more bearable. Yesterday I found a spider the size of my hand, just sitting on the chase lounge. Blighter probably wanted a payoff, everyone else does. And we are going to extend the mandate. It's always a good idea to have when you're trying to build up an economy strong enough to be independent. Alright, so, let me see. We have tobacco, we have logs, we have coconuts. You know what? We're going to export those coconuts and immediately gain a little bit of something. Plus, I saw we also have, like I said, tobacco in there as well already, so... Let's sign a contract. Yes, we will build an additional license and sign that contract. Now, of course, you do have to buy additional licenses for every single trade you do. Alright, play. So we will finally, I believe at least, start having some semblance of an economy. We still have homeless families. Still have plenty of vacant homes for all of these families. Why don't you move?
What a day.
Yeah. Okay, so you work on the plantation. And your home is that shack. Alright, so these people basically want homes closer to the plantations. That's normal. That would be a normal thing to want, I am sure. Now, before I do that, just one more check. Wait, we have... Okay, so we have pineapple, we have banana, we have tobacco. That is basically all we have right now. We don't yet have corn. Corn can be positioned... Do we position it right there? Like, right that? It's not completely green, but should work. Though I think something else was supposed to be positioned there, right? Sugar... Cocoa. Good God, I keep forgetting. I'm sorry about this, but I keep forgetting what we actually already have and what we still need. Rubber. Okay, so rubber is gonna be way off there, so no use calculating that. Cotton, though. Right. We can make cotton right there. Is it green enough? I think it's green enough. That's what we were looking to build there, I know that much. Alright, so cotton right there. I'm just doing this so that we have a good grid, or rather we can see where all the plantations are gonna be so that we can build shacks. Or rather we can know where to build shacks. Alright, corn. Basically anywhere. Bananas, pineapple, sugar! We can place sugar right next to it, but first I want to build a road around that. Because I'm not gonna get messed up by this bug again. There. How much you want to bet that I didn't place that road there before I plant sugar there? There would be a problem. You're a cocoa, right? No, you're cotton. Wait, okay. Where do we want... Okay, cocoa can be here as well. Sugar. Coffee. Cotton we already have. Rubber we said... No, wait. Cotton we said we don't have yet, right? We're building it. So, cocoa... no. Sugar right there. I learned my lesson. Sugar. Oh, honey, honey, dee 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 dee. Oh, sugar, sugar. Okay, so corn can be anywhere. And we said we also need coffee fee. Coffee fee can be right there. Excellent. Alright, so we have sugar, cotton, coffee, pineapple, banana, sheep, tobacco. We still need... cocoa. I guess cocoa's gonna be right there. Sure, and we can actually make a road in between here and also put some shacks down there. Alright, cocoa. Alright, so we finally have a space for our shacks. Look at this. See? I wouldn't be able to build there. Or at least I think so. Let's check. No, I could. Okay, okay. So we'll make a road like that. And build some residential areas, like some bunkhouses. For the people that live near to these plantations and work on them, but do not have a place to live just yet. Now, of course, we are going to require plenty more immigrants to have them work all of these fields. Wait. Multiculture. And this is already on 72%, 75%. There you go. There's a freighter coming. Excellent. We're about to get our 10 revolutionary immigrants plus something else. What is this?
Humbly teach you something.
Too many citizens are living in shacks. If you take a look at the build residential building. Well, I'm already doing that. And don't worry about these like...
The people have a request. But for safety reasons, it is a secret request.
Only I know what it is. And several dozen loose-lipped freedom fighters. And your spies. In fact, you almost certainly knew what we wanted before we did. In which case, please do it, and we shall say no more. Alright? 10 more revolutionary. Like, it's always best to have as much population as possible, in the beginning at least, I find, so that you have a good financial basis. Have a pirate cove. I mean, that's our goal anyway, but as I was saying, don't worry about these missions. Like, these missions are usually just, you know, you're kind of doing things wrong, you might want to do it like this sort of situation. Like, you don't get anything from this. It's just kind of a little mini tutorial about what to do. He basically just saw that we have homeless citizens. By the way, where's this well-off citizen living? Oh, he's working on a PlayStation. How are you well off if you work on a plantation? Are you like the manager or something? Possibly. Alright, so he needs a country house. Alright. I guess we can make like 1 or 2 country houses in between that. Like that. Alright. How much are we gonna earn? Alright, well, we're starting to earn some money. That's good. Right, she said Pirate Cove. Let's position this somewhere where it won't... Because it increases crime. It definitely increases crime. So having a pirate, quote-unquote, pirate cove right next to the palace, neither thematically, neither economically smart, or rather safety reason smart. So let's, I don't know, let's make one right over there. Oh. Okay, so we finished the trade route. 2 of them, actually. Alright, so we had enough tobacco and cocoa. Or rather, what was it? Tobacco and coconut, I believe the trader was, right? Yeah, coconut and tobacco. Alright. And we already got rid of those. Now, I know that we are also getting plenty of tobacco, plenty of coffee as well, so we'll just sign those 2.
Loyal Penultimo is speechless. Only the political majesty of his beloved Presidente stills Penultimo's tongue this way.
Citizens want to live as close to their workplace as possible. They'd rather live in shacks than too far away from their jobs. I know that whenever I try to do that accent, I end up just sounding Russian. But eh. Wait, before I do anything, let me check one more time. How's the, this? Aha! So we're gonna give up the coal over there. Sure. But we do have gold, we do have this. I was just looking into it so that I don't, you know, build anywhere close to here. Road. How should we connect this? I mean, I can connect it like this. I doubt there's gonna be another plantation there. Or is there any sort of plantation that could actually fit in that? Bananas are pretty green there still. But bananas are already here, so they wouldn't really serve the purpose. Tobacco as well, but tobacco's already here and it's already in effect affecting it. The only reason I would do another tobacco right there would be because this one is not affecting that, I think. Is it? It's not. See, it's not affecting that one. So if I placed another tobacco right there, it's not such a bad idea, actually. So, just in order to have an idea... Alright, so... 3 more up. I'll do 4 more up. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then like this. Let me check where the arrow is. About like this, I think. Maybe one more. Like these. And like these. Alright. Oh, it's not exactly, but hey. And I can eventually make another plantation, tobacco plantation right there, and still have the space over there to possibly build something else as well. I just didn't want to take the chance for something like this to happen. Like, you know, when I would want it to be like nice and neat like this, but it wouldn't let me due to the fact that this is still a beta and whatnot. Right, so we're gonna have a pirate cove pretty soon. We did get plenty, like 18 more workers, which is nice. This is still monoculture, nope, multiculture, there we go. 85, 82, 82. This one's already built, right? No, it's not built yet. Is it? It's almost built. It's built. Alright. Multi! Suddenly 92, 95, 92, and 92. And once that one's built, like, it's gonna be 100. It's gonna be over 100. That's why I love doing multiculture, sorry. Alright, well, this is the basis of what our nation is going to look like. The main island, well, at least this part of the main island is going to be plantation and production and whatnot. We'll see if we move to the other islands as well anytime during this Let's Play, but of course you can move and are encouraged to move to other islands. Because, you know, iron, gold's a good thing. Though we do have gold pretty close by, granted. Though, considering we're not going to be able to make use of that coal right there, that coal looks nice, doesn't it? And you can just connect it with a landing and some Teamsters, Teamster Sports. Teamster Sports are these guys. They're basically the maritime, aka water-based version of the Teamsters office on land. So they bring stuff from one island to the other. And yeah, you can make like, or we might even make like a small little village or small little town right there for the production of the coal, and I believe there was also gold. No, coal and iron. Coal and iron together, I believe, make something. I just can't remember what. But yeah, this is the basis of our nation, and this is it for the very first episode. I'm hoping you're enjoying this. Like I said, I will record a few of these episodes just to give a rough idea, and these episodes should be coming up one per day for the next couple of days, maybe for a week or so. I'm thinking about doing up to either World Wars or maybe to the end of the World Wars and the beginning of the Cold War, and just let you see what the Cold War era actually adds to the game and whatnot. We'll see what happens. At any rate, guys, thank you very much for joining me. If you enjoy what I do, like I said, please do consider leaving a like. Let me know if you like this sort of content as well. It's not exactly strategy, it is city building, but I do enjoy these games as well. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below as well. And I will see you guys next time, and until then, as always, ad gloriam.